Esports Extra, the only live call-in sports show talking traditional sports, esports, and gaming. We'll take your phone calls live at 877-853-5247. Meeting ID is Esports Extra. That's 377-678-9872 at the pound button twice to join the show. As I just said, Larry Ridley here, SNY TV, little NBC Sports, little Madden NFL, little NBA 2K League. We got 4-on-4 tonight. We got the Broskies here. We got, I guess we'll start down in the DFW since he's the furthest away. We'll go down to Willie says respect. Is that Derek Jeter or is that Aretha Franklin? Which one?
No, this is shout out to my brother Ray. This is his clothing line. So I'm rocking one of his sweatshirts on there for sure. One of his crew necks.
Nice. All right. What up, Ray? And then we got
that link, man. We got to get that link.
Yeah.
That's a nice shirt.
It is.
LL, you missed the memo, man. We all got our Chicago Bulls / Francisco 49ers gear on, and you coming out with some Dolphin stuff, man.
Dolphins?
Yeah. I couldn't tell if that was the Dolphins or Houston Oilers. I don't know what that was.
Miami Dolphins #1. Yeah, their theme song is like trash, dude. You should hear it one day. You should just kind of Google it. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
I'm not a sneakerhead. I got my favorite pair of Jordans that I like, but I'm definitely not a sneakerhead.
I'm trying to learn, dude. My son's one. Willie's one. I'm trying to learn.
Y'all lost me with these numbers.
Dylan, where you at, man? Carnoustie, right?
Canarsie, Brooklyn. Canarsie, Brooklyn. Off of Flatbush. Actually, Flatlands. I'm sorry.
Carnoustie. All right. Carnoustie, Brooklyn. Got it. All right, you guys ready to talk? Here, we'll take some phone calls. 877-853-5247. Meeting ID Esports Extra 377-678-9872. Pound button twice to join the show. Gonna talk a little NBA. Get into a little bit of the NFL on Monday Night Football last night. We'll get into NCAA. Tomorrow's a big day, guys. Have y'all seen how many freaking college basketball games are tomorrow? I think literally every damn Division I. Seriously, I think literally every Division I team plays tomorrow. I was looking
trying to get it in.
It just went forever. I counted 160, 170 games. I'm like, that's every Division I damn team.
Right, almost.
You multiply by you multiply by 2. It's like 320 some teams. That's pretty much every damn team. We'll get into that.
Duke is postponed.
Yeah, I think Baylor got postponed too, one of their games.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll get into that. And my Kentucky Wildcats, I think they open up against Morehead State. We'll talk Middle Tennessee on the docket as well. Big win for Middle Tennessee. Beat Troy State on the road last weekend. Shout out to my boy. Good win. Remember Troy State beat LSU a couple of years ago down in Baton Rouge?
I do remember that. Yeah.
Troy ain't no joke, man. And then I think they went to Nebraska the same damn year and won.
Yeah.
So that was a good win for my boys. Let's start at the top. The Miami Heat extending All-Star center Bam Adebayo, speaking of Kentucky, former Kentucky Wildcat. Come from humble beginnings, dude. Like mom lived in made like $15,000 a year, living in a small trailer. Does a lot down there in the Miami area for my guys that I still are friends with. You know Donovan Derwin and those guys. I know he does these food drives and things of that nature down in Miami. 5 years, $163 million. It can get to 195, close to 200 million. One of these rookie extensions that he was up for. I think he came out in 2017. So you got De'Aaron Fox, who was his teammate at Kentucky. Damn, that was a good team. You look at Jason Tatum, some of those guys that have signed those extensions there. Tatum got his deal. What do you think about this big deal for the Heat? Perfect spot for him. Great culture, great coaching, great ownership, great management. I mean, this is a win-win for, and he gets to live in freaking Miami.
Yeah, no state taxes.
Man, he should get the Fountain Blue every day with his feet.
I'm gonna let A. Willie go and jump on this, but first off, who cares? It's 163 million, and he's 23 years old. I'll sign anywhere for that kind of money.
He said this was a goal of his. He wanted to sign a big. I'm like, damn, it was
23 years. Think about it. You're 23 years old.
Yeah.
Your mother don't have to ever work again. Come on, man. Hey, Willie, you take it away.
Just think, look, I feel good when I give my mom like $100. Like, damn, okay, I'm helping moms out. She raised me. Blah, blah, your baby boy, he got this. He doing this thing. Mom, what you need? You need a flight to come to, to Jersey to watch the kids? I ain't got 163 million. Mom, I can't help you. Your baby has failed in life because he ain't got a $163. No, sir.
Man. it's got to be a great feeling to be able to do that, and especially from where he's come from. And I did a lot of intel on him during the draft, and great kid. Everybody raves about him. So the things that he does in the community are things that are organically part of him. So you like to really see that. And but great deal by Miami. It was smart for them to get it done early because you don't want to. I know that they could have done some cap gymnastics and been in the Giannis sort of in that sweepstakes as well. But at the same time, when you have a franchise pillar, you have a center like this that can do the things that he can do, you kind of don't want to you want to make sure that you keep that era of good feeling, as they say, going, and you don't want him to be waiting on his extension because you're out there chasing something else that could, that can come back to backfire you on you in terms of how he feels. And we know, especially with them being a great organization, at the same time, in this era that we're in with players now, how they feel and their comfort level is important, whether we like it or not. So with that being said, I think they did the right thing. He's in a great place. Doesn't have to change the culture. The culture already resonates for him. They've done a great job of building their team, but they can also go out there and try and get Giannis as well while taking care of him. So I think they did a great job.
OG, I like the fact that he accepts and wants coaching too. He talks about being in the right environment, the right team, right organization. That's got to be important as well, right?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I think this is one of those situations where maximizing your value, and timing. The Miami Heat had not made a run like they did this year in a while. So him being a big part of it, he gets rewarded, and it's good to see genuine guys that just really is all about hard work. His game has gotten better. He was knocking down, some mid-range jump shots. He wasn't just a dunker and shot blocker, as he was like portrayed when he did that at a high level coming into college, and then only staying for a short amount of time and coming to the pros. He's really made a big splash, and it didn't take him a long time. I think that environment is perfect for players like that for the Heat because they generally did it collectively as a group. Where nobody, Jimmy was the guy, but he had a great pieces around him that just was all about the blue collar, clocking in, clocking out, and I think he fits that type of environment perfect, and he benefited from it.
Yeah, Derwin, when you look at Bam, is this the right guy to build around? You think? I mean, because they're signaling like this guy is our future, he's our present, he is the centerpiece right now. I know Jimmy Butler is the guy in the locker room and probably is the star player on that team. But it seems like they're signaling like, we want this guy around. Like whatever we do, it's going to involve him.
I think it's a smart move. And I think, they really touched upon it early, when he spoke. He talked about you don't want to go chasing somebody else before you take care of in-house. And sometimes that gets overlooked. You want to take care of home first because if guys see you chasing something outside of the organization, they start to wonder, but what about me? I grinded and I battled and, I made it to the finals, but they did the right thing. They took care of their guy first. And now whatever they have left over, they can go out there and try to add some more pieces. But locking him in at 23 years old, early, they're showing appreciation. Who doesn't like appreciation? How do players accept appreciation? They accept appreciation in the form of dollars. So when you're giving him money like that, he's saying, man, the organization really appreciates me. And that might give him incentive to even go out there now to even do better, to work on his game, because now he feels like he has to not so much, show that he deserves that kind of money, but he doesn't want to let his family down, the people around him down, and the community down. So I think it's a win-win for everyone, them signing him to this deal and, organizations showing that they have faith in him and they want him to be the piece.
Yeah, I don't see him slacking or, falling off or anything like that because like you said, what he's gone through and just the foundation that he has with his mom and the way he was reared by that terrific mother of his. So I think he'll do great in Miami. Let's keep it in the NBA. Montrezl Harrell, going from one locker room to the next across the hall at Staples Center. a little bit of parting shots, talked about the Clippers. It's like, I don't know. I doubt if they wanted me, because if they would have, they wouldn't have let me go. So 2 years, 19 million, not extraordinary money, but here's a guy that's, definitely six man of the year type of material. You're looking at 18-6, not bad coming off the bench right there. Did his thing with the Clips right here. Why do you think he left? I don't think it was solely on money. Probably could have gotten a little bit more money from the Lakers, although I think the Clippers could have given him something close to that, somewhere around $8 to $10 million a year. What did I'm sensing the Kawhi Leonard thing going on? The Paul George thing. Was he in that group of, yeah, those guys don't practice, those guys are load managing? What the hell? We'll go with you, OG.
Yeah, I think so. I just was thinking in my mind about when you think about the Clippers, you think about Montrezl Harrell, you think about Pat Bev, you think about the real grunt emotional leaders of that team, and then you think about the stars, and Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. It's like polar opposites. And when you think about successful teams, your alphas are your superstars, and if that's not the case, then they have to be a perfect fit for whoever that alpha dog is, that may be like a Montrezl Harrell or even like a Draymond Green or whatever. It has to fit. And I think with the Clippers, as it looked, it didn't seem like it fit. I mean, you want that the kind of attitude and Pat Bev and Montrezl's take on, you want that coming from Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, the guys who's supposed to be the man. And it's going to be real interesting, because I like Montrezl Harrell. I think every team that's successful needs a player like that. Is just going to go out and do all the dirty work and stick up for his guys, and different things of that nature. So I think it's a hell of a pickup for the Lakers, man. I mean, if they can keep continuing to get guys like him that just are going to do their job and only focus on what they're good at, I mean, this might be a long run for them.
Yeah, and they get Mark Gasol as well.
Exactly.
Hey, Willie, your thoughts here? He's an enforcer, and I like that he plays with a little edge. I thought at times Kawhi, with his natural sort of personality, PG, but there's only so much you can do with PG, because if you ain't on, it's like, well, dude, stop talking to me. You're not really that dude. You know what I'm saying? But I thought he really helped the Clips. I think they're gonna miss that, man. I know they got your boy from the Raptors. What's his name? I forget. Serge Ibaka. Yeah, they got Serge.
That fits the mold, though. When you
Probably,
start talking
I was about to say,
make it,
probably a better fit. But man, they're gonna miss. Now Serge plays with some passion too. And he's Kawhi's boy. Remember, they had the funny stuff,
it ain't that hood passion though, like Montrez.
It ain't. We like
to
call that
different.
We like to call that edge. That's why I keep saying he's got some edge to him. Go ahead, Willie.
I think it's a great pickup by the Lakers. What they,
you think everything's good by the Lakers? You
ain't
said nothing bad about the Lakers in 20 years, man. Get out of here.
So no, it's a good one because if you look at them as a team, one of the things that they were kind of lacking at is scoring off the bench, and especially when they would go to their bench and they would go to the front court, because Dwight and JaVale did a great job in their respective roles, but they weren't guys that we're saying, okay, in the second unit, let's go to them and get a bucket. Well, Montrez gives them a guy on the second unit, if he's in the second unit, that they can say, you know what, let's go to him to get a bucket. And that was something that the Lakers didn't have, especially on the front line. That with them losing some of that athleticism that they had from Dwight and JaVale, they had to replace it with some scoring. So they got that. One of the things that, and I know a lot of people focus on Montrez's defense, there's a couple of things. Like, one, I don't think we got the true effect of Montrezl Harrell in the bubble because of what he was dealing with his grandmother passed away. When he returned to the bubble, that was a different guy than the 18-7 that OG referenced earlier. And I know a lot of people like to talk about his defense, but I'll say this about him. One, he averaged about a block a game from the power forward spot, which is pretty good. But the thing that he really does is more than one way to protect the rim and protect the paint. You can take charges to protect the paint. He's one of the league's leaders in taking charges. So again, that edge that we're talking about manifests itself in that as well. I know he scores. I know he gets in people's space. I know he's an enforcer. But dude is pretty damn good at taking charges as well. So, and not afraid to put his body on the line and those things. So, and the fact that this is a 1+1, even though it's on paper a 2-year deal, it's actually 1+1. So he's got a player option next year to go back into free agency. So there's more incentive for him to do his thing. So I like this move from the Lakers. I really do.
Yeah, Derwin, Serge Ibaka or Montrezl Harrell? Because the Clippers, as Montrez said, they made a business. It was a business decision for him. They opted to go in a different route, and he says, "Look, that's why I'm here. There's no doubt about it. To go, where the purple and gold." You think they made the wise decision? Like I said, I think so. Basketball wise, culture wise, I guess we'll see. But on the floor, Serge is a better player in that system for what they need as far as a fit.
Well, I think that there's a couple of things that I'm looking at. I think there's a question about chemistry. Here's a guy that's been there with that bunch. Maybe he wasn't really feeling the locker room like that. And he seems like he's a dog to me, like a gritty, get down and dirty and bang kind of guy. And maybe, he's looking at that locker room. Kawhi seems to be a quiet leader, but not a vocal guy like a LeBron. Maybe he sees those guys across the locker room, across the building, thinking, I would rather, first bringing in Serge, how much did that might have rubbed him the wrong way? Why are you bringing this guy in when I'm here? And now the Lakers are showing interest in me. You got LeBron and Anthony Davis over there. That's a formidable front line. And I think I saw a quote him saying they acted like they really wanted him. So then he goes over there, and then how much Doc being let go, does that play into this, a little bit about the uncertainty of the team with the Clippers, getting a new coach? There's a lot of different things that could play into that. But
you still got Ty, though. I mean, Ty, Ty's still there.
He ain't Doc.
Yeah, but yeah.
I'm not saying he's not a bad coach.
Yeah, okay, yeah. But but Ty, he's, if you know Ty, he spends a lot of time with the players. I wonder how much Clutch had to do with this as well. I want to get you guys' thoughts on that a little
bit. So they seem to have a lot to do with a lot. Like, I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. But then, even then, when you start looking at, from the coaching change, obviously, I don't, from what I've seen from Doc and then Ty Lue, they're not, obviously not the same. Like, I think Doc, maybe a little bit more demanding, a little bit more vocal. I mean, he's a veteran. Like, I mean, I think maybe Ty Lue's coaching is fitting the team that's being put together or reconstructed, and hopefully we can see some benefit from that, because obviously the Clippers was a big letdown, this season, because everybody was expecting them to meet up with the Lakers. I mean, so they have a lot riding on how they put this team together and what happens going forward, because it is going to start looking like one of the biggest busts ever, what you expect out of a championship contending team.
Yeah. Good stuff. Real quickly, hey Willie, Serge Ibaka or Montrezl Harrell? If you were Steve Ballmer, who would you re-sign? Who would you rather have? Straight up.
If I were the Clippers looking at their team, I would
not with your Laker, Homer, glasses. Clippers.
I would take Serge Ibaka for their team.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. But damn, Trez is a good player, man. I love having him on my team, dude. Love to have him on my team.
To your point, I think he is probably a better fit with the Lakers and what they do. Yeah. And I'm not mad at it. I know maybe we all agree on this. I'm certainly not upset with what Clutch is doing with Rich Paul, because, as a shorty, when I was young and I read the stories about it, I know about it now, but this was going on when we were all young. David Falk did the same thing.
Exactly.
and
he had Jordan.
He had Jordan. He had Patrick Ewing. He controlled the NBA, and nobody, and it wasn't egregious in anybody's eyes. People didn't think that it was an issue. No. So, I don't have an issue with
that. The rabbit got the gun. That's what.
That's it.
I mean, it's just a regular old Jag, just a Caucasian male, man. No threat there, right?
No threat. Nobody worried about it.
Nope.
Nobody worried about it.
We'll keep it in the NBA. We'll start with you, OG. Utah Jazz making some news. I know the Lakers, some other teams saying no fans, at least at the start of the season, NBA season. Shoot, guys, less than a month away. We're looking at literally like 4 weeks away. It's like December.
I'm excited.
Right?
No break, no rest.
No rest. Good. But the Jazz going to allow 1,500 fans, lower bowl. some in the suites and things of that nature. 1,500. I think the Vivint Center now. It used to be the old Delta Center, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's going through a bunch of name
A bunch of
changes.
different names. I think it holds 18.6, so a little short of 19,000. So this
It's
is
normal.
about maybe 5%, a little more than 5%. Not 10, but we'll call it right down the middle, about 6 or 7. If somebody get out the calculator, 1,500 out of 18.6 is around 7%, somewhere around there. It's not a lot. Derwin, you're always talking about competitive disadvantage, man.
I mean, 1,500. What is that's nothing.
Well, so is 10,000 in a 70,000 seat stadium.
Come on, man. That's a sprinkle. That's nothing.
So
If you sprinkle that much salt on your food, you won't even taste it.
So it's 10,000 out of 70,000.
That's a good example, Derwin.
Oh man, I mean, you hear them heckling even better, but
oh man, you might as well just have family and friends there, man.
Yeah, just let the wife and the babies come and just
and employees.
Yeah,
right.
And support staff, exactly. Yeah. Well, you think about it on an NBA traveling, like just to do an NBA game, just support people and the teams. You can fill up 500 people in an arena just with personnel that you need, essential personnel, I guess, if you want to call it that. So OG, what do you think here with the Jazz saying, "Hey, we're gonna," what the first thing I thought? They're in Utah. They're in Utah. That's the answer. You can't be in New York City or LA, some of these other places. You need to be in a red state, wide open spaces, and it don't get much redder and wide open than freaking Salt Lake City.
Yeah, I was gonna say when no disrespect to Utah, but when you think of Utah, you instantly think social distance. I mean,
I think Mormons, but yeah,
Mormons.
that too, big love and everything. Yeah, but anyway,
snow,
mountains,
it's like what Derwin said. 15. I mean,
no brothers. Very little brothers.
I got a brother who coaches for the Utah Jazz game.
And I know a white girl that was a sports reporter that's married to a brother. That was they lived in Salt Lake City too. Yeah.
But no, I think they under new ownership, if I'm not mistaken.
They are.
A younger, savvier tech guy. I mean, I think they're going to be real innovative in how they do it. Although I think when you think about NBA arenas, like 1,500 fans, I don't think that's enough to make a major impact. I mean, it'll satisfy those 1,500, but I don't think it's no real home court advantage, or I don't think you're obviously not recouping a lot of what you would have made off of fan participation if we could fill the arena. So I don't know. It's gonna be a weird thing. Even when I think about the Barclays Center, like potentially, if they were to have fans, like how much of an impact would that
What's
be?
the latest? Probably not going to have fans. If you got the school shut, you ain't having no damn fans.
Yeah,
right.
I don't see it happen. It's interesting to me to hear Utah talking about it. Where I don't know. I guess they're going to police this and pretty much let the organizations or the states or govern who
Local
has fans and who doesn't. Yeah, but I don't know. I just don't see it being no major impact. That's almost going to be just almost equivalent to the virtual fan aspect that was created during the bubble. So I'm gonna be intrigued to see it. The one thing I'm really excited about this season anyway is just that I think a lot the young guys are gonna get to play early, and typically you don't always see that. I think because with this quick turnaround, a lot of the veterans are gonna rest. So I just want to add on that I'm real intrigued to see the young players get a chance, and some of these foreign players that a lot of us never heard of, they got drafted this past draft. So that's what I'm really looking forward to beyond the fan aspect of it. I don't see that happening in too many venues, especially the major venues. I don't see it happening.
Yeah, look, it ain't happening in New Orleans. It ain't happening in New York, Brooklyn, LA, Milwaukee. Cases going through the roof. I think Milwaukee already said no.
They just said no.
You named the place. You named the place. It ain't happening. Maybe Atlanta, probably not. Although Georgia's been kind of stabilizing.
I can't even say maybe Atlanta. Yeah. I'm thinking if Utah saying 1,500, Atlanta probably say 3,000.
maybe Memphis, but that's a black city, so they want to be sensitive about that. With the COVID ravaging, our community. Hey Willie, I mean, the Raptors are going to play in Tampa. I'm trying Boston. Hell no. Philly, probably not. DC, hell no. I mean, where can you see other teams allowing fans? Sacramento, Donuts in Cali. Where?
Right.
Phoenix?
Maybe,
They're cheap
maybe
though. We'll get to that. Your old
that
organization cheap.
yeah.
Kelly Oubre was
Yeah.
like, man, them jokers cheap.
When I saw it, the first thing I started thinking was, and we've seen multiple players say this in different seasons about the relationship between some of the players in the NBA and the crowds in Utah. So if it's going to be 1,500 fans, they definitely can't say anything greasy or crazy or say, because you don't have a 20,000 seat arena and it being packed to kind of camouflage the stuff
the
that you're
acoustics
saying
would
or
be
doing.
really good.
No question. So that's the first thing I thought. I was like, man, so these 1,500 fans have got to be on their best behavior because
they can't drop no N-bombs and curse out Russ and grab them and stuff.
Because they know exactly where it's coming from.
Right. They'll know exactly where it's coming from. So that's the first thing I thought. And then,
Good point.
but also too, like I look at it and I don't know if it'll do much in terms of having some sort of advantage like everybody is saying. But the fans really got to behave there now, man. They got to behave.
Are we really talking about this? Like the fans really need to behave in Utah? That's how bad the reputation is. We're talking about fans. Please don't let the rest of America know where you guys do what you guys do. Don't let them know you guys be acting out.
It's literally been, multiple players, multiple different years that have been saying this, and and these guys are subjected to all kinds of things. But for them to single out Utah, it has to be really bad for them to single it out, for some of the things that are said. And, again, this isn't just this generation. You could go back and Mike and other players have said, the stuff that's said in Utah is just downright crazy. Yeah. So, so with that being said, I not trying to pick on them, but multiple players from multiple generations have said it.
Watching Oklahoma City, might be some fans, and Texas, the three teams in Texas.
Dallas.
Those are Dallas, San Antonio, Houston,
Indiana.
Yeah, good point. Pacers, maybe. Yeah, good point. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I think we named about 6 of the 24 we might be able to see fans, but most of them in the big cities. Yeah, you ain't doing that. So yeah, it's good. We'll see how the fan reception will be in Salt Lake City, SLC out there in Utah. Let's go to the NFL. Tom Brady, another sort of uneven performance. I would say probably bad for him. A couple of picks. If you really look at it, I think he's missed 19 straight deep balls that he's thrown. Hasn't completed one in 19 straight passes with the deep throws. We heard what Joe Judge and some of the other coaches of the Giants had to say through back channels that they thought Brady couldn't throw on the outside, and smart, but not as the Patriots system was the system. That's what won all the games, not Brady. What do you think? 7-4 now. About a month ago, we're like, hey, Bucks look pretty daggone good, man. This is my son calling. Hey, Cameron, I'm live on my show right now. Hey, I just want to tell you, man, that glove is straight fire, bro.
It is.
And my host, the co-host, said it's fire too. I'm about to call you back though, all right? All right, brother. Sorry about that. But yeah.
Gotta take that.
We family first.
Man. Yeah, that's the firstborn right there, man. He gets whatever he wants. But yeah, just overall thoughts. Like, what's going on with Brady? Like, I mean, it's not a bad season, but it's starting to sort of look. It's not as bad as last year, but it's sort of like the whispers that I was hearing in 2018. Like, okay, he's still good, but he can be defended. He's not all world. What are you guys' thoughts on the Bucks specifically and Brady? And not only that, he ain't shaking nobody's hand if he don't respect you. He shook Jared Goff's hand in Atlanta 2 years ago. I was there for that when he won the Super Bowl. He still hadn't beat Nick Foles, but that's a different story. Go ahead, OJ.
No, I was gonna say. I mean, I talk about this all the time. I've said it publicly. Like I've always been a sore loser. I've learned how to mature throughout the years, of course. But I mean, I don't really have a problem with him like antics like that. I mean, Tom Brady. I mean, he's put himself. This is what success does to you. I mean, he's put himself at the pinnacle, and now if you're not constantly going out there each and every night, looking like the Brady that people have become, grown to know and love, you're going to receive criticism for it. For anybody else, that's not a bad night. But for Tom Brady, it's a bad night, especially when you don't get the win. So it's tough because right now you look at 25 touchdown passes, 9 interceptions. It's a lot of quarterbacks that don't do that year in and year out. I mean, he's completing 64% of his passes. But I will say this though, when you start looking at
completing a higher percentage, by the way.
I was about to say, when you start looking at the numbers, don't.
But
hey,
he's
hey,
inaccurate.
wait. Let me get my spiel before before y'all start duking it out.
We're not.
But the thing I was gonna say is that's when you start talking about the system, though, because you throw less interceptions if you just dump in here, dump in there, and everything like that. I mean, you
Throwing
get
in the middle of the
yards.
field.
Your accuracy is higher. So. Systems do make a difference, especially for people who thrive in those systems. So I mean, I'd say that I'm not giving up on Tom Brady. I still think they're gonna make a run and be competitive. But the pressure is on each and every week because people are expecting him to do something that a lot of older quarterbacks haven't done. I mean, especially even though how much does Tom Brady really have to play for? I mean. Yeah, he's playing for the love. I would say for the love of the game. I mean, and everything
for the love
like
of the Lombardi.
yeah. So I'm still riding with Tom Brady.
And you know what? Gun to my head, I would too, because he's just done too much. 9 Super Bowl trips in 18 seasons that he played in New England. First year he was, didn't play. Was a rookie, and the 2008 season he got hurt. 3 quarters into the, 3 quarters into the game, into the fourth quarter. So he only played 3 quarters of one game that season. So he missed really 2 seasons. So he went to Super Bowl 9 of 18 years. Pretty damn remarkable. D-Dubs, 64%. I'm glad that he brought that up. Brady's been around there. You look up the numbers.
Percentage?
Completion percentage. He's been around there the last 3 or 4 years. That's
not bad.
That's not bad. Well, Cam Newton's at 67, 68.
But we're not going to compare Cam. Cam Newton's normally under 60. He's always under 60 for his career.
Not this year.
Listen, I'm not judging Cam Newton by this year. I'm judging Cam Newton by his body of work. He's always under 60. So
he's had a couple of years above 60. Not 60. Bro. Stop it, Derwin.
No.
You can say 65.
Let's talk. Let's talk about a champion. Anyway, we talk about Tom Brady.
You got that one. You got me on that one.
I mean, I'm just not. I think people are not used to the interceptions. And that last deep ball that he threw, it wasn't close. And I thought maybe the DB was tugging on the receiver a little bit, pulling his jersey, but he still missed that guy for a good couple of yards. So that's what we're not used to, the turnovers. Bruce Arians, he's a down the field kind of coach. He wants to throw the ball down the field. He feels he has weapons to do that. And if you look through Tom Brady's career, really, he's always had Wes Welker. He's had Edelman, the little slot receiver side to side, let him catch the 5-yard, and run up the field. He's always had Gronk to lean on. And Gronk is a nightmare, but Gronk is not the Gronk of old. So he still had to adjust, but 7-4 is nothing to sneeze at. They're still, still going to probably make the playoffs. Still the Saints division, but they'll probably make the playoffs.
Yeah, we just showed one of those picks. The one down the middle, that was awful.
Yeah.
That was high school level. That is the thing that Coach Belichick would look at him and say, yes, that is Johnny bleeping Foxborough.
But
that's what that was.
Another thing?
That is worse. That is not even practice squad material right there, dude. That was awful.
But another thing?
Near the guy.
Right.
He underthrew him by like 15 yards.
You're absolutely correct. But you know what was going on last night? Goff was not getting touched last night. He had all the protection in the world. I was surprised, even with Whitworth out.
Brady's usually the guy that never gets touched.
Exactly. And that wasn't happening for him last night. No. He was getting pressured. So now third, fourth quarter, you've gotten hit a couple of times. They had one where they hit his arm. They thought it was a fumble, but they said it was incomplete. He was getting touched. And how do you get to Tom Brady? You make him uncomfortable, which he's not used to. You start touching him. So, I think that played a part in it a little bit. But that last interception to kill the game for them, it was just a bad throw. But Tampa's got to do a better job of protecting him and letting him feel a little bit more comfortable. They didn't have a running game last night. they became one-dimensional. Take your hat off to the Rams. The Rams played a good, solid defensive game.
Period. It was a good team. Good team. Yeah, absolutely.
And then the fact that they lost their left tackle and that Tampa defense couldn't even get near the golf last night. I don't even know if they sacked him. He was he threw over 300 some yards.
Yeah, 376, I think.
Two wide receivers for over 100.
Yeah,
he was doing whatever he wanted last night.
Right. Last time we saw Goff play against Tom Brady, did Goff throw for? I don't know if he threw for 150 yards in that game. I know they only scored 3 points against New England. My thing, I want you to comment on this, Willie. Shannon Sharp, he's been beating on the drum, and you know what? He's right. He says this all the time, and Brady does that. Let me tell you something about Brady. Brady is probably my favorite NFL guy that ever got the cover because of the stature, and also he's been able to play both sides so damn well. Here's a guy, had a kid, out of marriage, dumped his girlfriend while she was pregnant for another girl. Sound like some athletes that we know. No one said a damn thing in Boston. Curses out his teammates, yells at them when they do the wrong thing. It's just passion, right? Oh, Tom Brady, he's the winner. It's passion. Another guy does it. Somebody that looks like us. Oh, he's a thug. He's just loud. He's whiny. I remember I told Cam Newton when I first met him when we did a Madden event 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 2014. He's like, man, what is it about Brady? I'm like, you know what Tom Brady does? He says no with a smile on his face, and he's got the media in his hand. That's his power.
Put it.
That's his power. It's that simple.
Right.
I want to hear more about this. I want to hear more about this kid out of wedlock.
Oh, his first kid.
The first kid. How old is his first kid?
Well, Jackson's
that's the oldest one. The first kid is the oldest.
He's the oldest one. With the actress. What's her name?
Bridget Moynahan.
Bridget Moynahan. Yes. Nobody talks about that. Out of wedlock.
And I never heard that one.
Oh, that's the biggest. That was the first thing I knew when I got the boss. I'm like, nobody's talking about this? Oh my goodness, let that be LeBron or Michael or Magic Johnson. Oh my goodness, but and not only that, he left her while she was pregnant. That's when he started.
Yeah, that broke her up. She was broke up over that.
Yeah, they started dating when she was pregnant.
Wow.
And that's how I started seeing Giselle around 07, the year.
I wanna speak on that, but it'll go in a whole nother direction. So.
But hey, Willie, your thoughts on that? Just the Brady, the Don of chicken, and look, it doesn't take anything away from the fact that Brady is the GOAT, and there's a reason why he's all over my daggone resume reel too, because he's big time, he's box office. So I can't speak out of both sides of my mouth. I gotta give you the truth, and that's the truth about Brady. Go ahead, hey Willie.
No, when you look at him, it's one of the things that winning does for sure. But he has really been able to, and it's one of the things that. When I'm talking to young people, when I was at ESPN and even at Nike, I used to tell them about is, hey, if you got a flag that you really want to carry, the most effective way you can do it is have the media carry the flag for you. And
carry your water. Mm-hmm.
Right. And so, and the other thing that played in his favor as well doing this is he also played 20 years under a coach who really didn't care what other people thought about him. So Belichick was comfortable with, hey, you want to blame me? You want me to be the villain? You want me to say that I forced Tommy out of town, as what Robert Kraft would call him? Fine, I'll take that. Belichick did not care to clear his name. He didn't care to, hey, believe what you want to believe. So that's the other thing that made it really easy.
A Deflategate left his ass out there hanging to dry too.
Right. Then he left.
My cousin Benny, he's like, I ain't got nothing to do with air pressure on the footballs. I ain't got nothing to do with
right.
My cousin Benny.
So, but also too, one of the things that Bruce Arians was saying about Brady that's really interesting to me. Going back to what OG and what D were saying as well about not being accustomed to seeing Brady underperforming while they're in pressure-packed moments. So Bruce Arians said, and I'm just kind of unpacking what he said here. He said, you know what, in practice, we don't have any issues with converting on deep balls. For whatever reason, we can't do it on Sunday. So when I'm unpacking that, the first thing I'm thinking is, yeah, he's got to get more accustomed to dealing with the system. But the other thing is, are you trying to say, Bruce Arians, that Brady is not performing under pressure, not performing when the lights are brightest? And that's something that we're not accustomed to seeing with Tom Brady. Because if you're telling me that he's doing it in practice, you're telling me he can do it when nobody's watching. Well, he's the GOAT because he's been doing it when everybody's watching at the biggest moments during the game. So So with that being said, that's one of the things that really stuck out to me with what Bruce Arians is saying about him as well. Like, are you trying to say that the pressure is getting to him, and maybe he's getting the pucker effect, like
Yeah.
when he starts tightening up when the pressure starts to come. So
That's always been the case. He gets those happy feet at times, and even Manning was like that. The problem is you don't see it so often.
right.
With those
So
guys harassed and things of that nature.
yeah. So I'm saying with the moments, right? So that was really interesting to hear and see, when Bruce Arians is talking about it. And then the other thing he said as well was, for a guy that played 20 years in New England, is in his 21st season in the league, for him to say that he gets confused by coverages, that was a little bit. I thought about that a little bit when Bruce Arians said that, because I think Tom Brady's seen everything, right? So
Mhm.
so to say that he's confused by coverages, it's like, wow, that's saying something.
Yeah.
Well, that'll happen to you when you get the Jets and the Bills twice a year and the Dolphins for 20 years.
Right.
Well, I mean, but he torched them, but he torched everybody else
Hey,
too.
man.
Be fair. Be fair.
He got to deal with the Saints twice a year.
Well, I will
Carolina
on this.
coming at him.
Yeah, well, I will say this. People used to always say, "Oh, they get to play the Bills and the Dolphins and the Jets." Their winning percentage was around 80% against them. You know what it was against the rest of the league? It was actually higher. Or it was around the same. So that's why people used to always push back, like, yeah, they're beating up on the AFC East, but they're beating up on every damn body, which is the truth. They beat up on everybody. The thing is, it's inconsistent play. That's what we're getting from Brady. So we'll see. Look, the arm might be an issue. He can still, as they like to call him, the surgeon, and things are the ninja back in the day when they beat your Seahawks. I know the offensive lineman kept calling him the ninja after the post game. So we'll see. We'll see how they bounce back. But 7-4, not overly concerned. But Brady wasn't there to just get the Bucks to the playoffs and have a first round, ceremonial exit. That's not what he signed up for. And they look like a team right now would be lucky to get out of the first round, and definitely if they get to the division, they'll probably get skull drug.
Well, they were being crowned once he got there, and then
like your boys.
I don't think we were being crowned. they were just saying that my guy was MVP, but I don't think they were crowning us.
We all sat here and said the best team in the NFC, the Seahawks by far. We all said that.
I mean, after 3 weeks, 4 weeks,
after 5 weeks,
that don't make a season. It's a long season, but Tampa, they got the Chiefs next week, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not betting on Tampa winning that game, to be honest with you.
You don't like Tampa Bay?
I wouldn't either.
I mean, it could be a shootout.
Yeah.
It should be a shootout.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I had to choose between Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, I'm going Mahomes.
Well, sure. Yeah. No. I mean, absolutely. We'll keep it moving.
We could be 7-5. That's all I'm saying.
And now we probably have the same conversation next week. Now we're like, all right, 7-5. You ain't even guaranteed a playoff spot right now. There's a difference between 7-5 and 10-2, 8-3. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. NCAA, we talked about it. How excited are you guys? Are you guys ready for college basketball? I've missed it. Last game we saw was early March. So it's been, 8 months? Literally over 300 teams are playing tomorrow. I looked at the schedule we talked about. It was November 25th. You look at it as long as it was like literally 160 damn teams playing, 60 games on the slate. So how much you guys looking forward to college basketball? I want to see is Gonzaga for real? Baylor, how for real are
That's
they?
the best game going on.
Yeah. Villanova. Go ahead. Kentucky, Duke.
Yeah. I mean, naturally, I always root for Ohio State. I mean, because they actually recruit and get local, like in-state players. That's pretty good. So I always root for them. But my heart has always been with Kentucky since I was a kid. And that became because my high school colors was blue and white. Kentucky was blue and white. So it was like and they kind of played the same how we played when I was in high school. So I love Rick Pitino and everything like that. But I'm thankful that I do have access to watch a lot of these games. So I'm definitely gonna be in tune with what's going on. College, I still think is one of our, to a degree, our purest form of sports, as far as watching them play and
Mhm.
and continue to be hungry before they
Mhm.
get to the next level. So I'm always intrigued. Really disappointed that we didn't have a March Madness that we were used to, because I still think my Dayton Flyers had a shot,
Mm.
and
Oh.
so it's gonna be fun to watch and see how, even we watched the TBT tournament, we watched the NBA do the bubble, we watched, like, so it's just gonna be interesting to see how basketball looks from this standpoint, being in college.
Sure. Hey Willie, you look at it tomorrow. All these teams are playing. Who do you think the best team in the country is? Is it Gonzaga? Is it that cut dry Gonzaga, Baylor? We don't really know about Duke and Kentucky right now. Or what do you think this thing stands right now,
Yeah,
Mister
Duke and
Mister College
Kentucky,
basketball?
Duke and Kentucky and North Carolina are very talented. All young, but very talented. Very talented teams. But if I'm looking at it from an experience standpoint as well, because that experience certainly factors into it, I would have to say Gonzaga and Baylor are probably the teams that, from that experience standpoint, that you would have to look at. But that's the beauty about college basketball. Once we enter into that tournament, and it's that one game situation, anything can happen. But no, I'm very much looking forward to seeing it. I know that the players that are draft eligible in the 2021 class that elected to go and play in college are very much looking forward to it, because I think some of them probably looked at their 2020 counterparts, and yeah, the people that at the pretty much at the top of the draft they were at the top of the draft when we started prognosticating about it at the beginning of the year. But there are lots of other things in this draft, in that draft in particular, where players could have played themselves into more positive positions. So,
Mhm.
with that being said, I think the people that elected to play in 2021 are looking at what happened in 2020 with no NCAA tournament, and sort of salivating and relishing the fact that they have an opportunity to play to improve their draft stock, all those things as well.
D Dubs, you look at college basketball right around the corner, starting tomorrow. Um, let me ask you this: when you look at what's going on tomorrow, what are you really looking at? If I'm looking at, say, the sports landscape, right?
Mhm.
It's the NFL, it's the NBA, and then I'm taking college football and college basketball before I get to Major League Baseball or hockey. Are you on board with me? Because I'm excited about tomorrow. I ain't
Right.
excited about damn opening day and spring training. I'm sorry, I
No.
ain't grew up like that.
Baseball? No.
And my kid plays baseball, but I ain't excited like
No.
that.
I mean, we missed March Madness.
Hmm.
That has never happened. And to hit on what OG said, for me, NCAA basketball is, like he said, one of the purest sports where guys are hungry. And that's why I've always liked the NCAA more than the NBA, because I see guys on the court fighting to make it to the show, fighting to make it to the league, and they're giving it everything they got. When sometimes I watch NBA, I personally think 82 games it's 82 preseason games if you ask me. But just to watch the NCAA play and have those guys back, and the tournament, the hungriness, the last 2 minutes of the game, the strategies. I love it. And it's interesting. You got Virginia at number 4. You're talking about Gonzaga, but then sometimes they always say, well, Gonzaga doesn't really play anyone. Baylor's there. This
Hmm.
thing is going to shuffle so
And
many
that's why
times.
they're ripe for an upset in the college tournament, the
Yeah.
NCAA
And
tournament. They
then
don't play nobody.
to go to what A. Willie said, this class, God willing, is going to get an opportunity that the other class didn't get, and that's to showcase their talents, to just change draft positions. You know, you get hot and you're on TV, and you're in those tournaments, ACC tournament, Big Ten tournament. You start hearing about guys maybe you didn't hear about. You didn't know about this guy, and
Hmm.
now he's hitting big shots. You get an opportunity to showcase your talent, and maybe a guy that might have been in round 2, maybe he sneaks into round 1. So it's just the excitement of college basketball's back. It's great to have it back. I could not see us missing another March Madness. We still got a ways to go,
Sure.
but this is a start.
Yeah,
So
we
I'm
we
looking
got
forward
we
to
got
it.
to get through the next 4 months to get
Yeah.
to March.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get there. Real quickly, OG, want to get your thoughts. Where does in college basketball rank on in the sports landscape? I've got it fourth, right behind college football, but I could flip flop those two, but definitely in front of MLB and NHL. If you
That's
had
a
a
good
top,
question.
if you had, and that you want to include soccer, and NASCAR, all that stuff as well.
No, I mean, Really, it's the same. I agree. I mean, it can be a toss up between, especially now with college football. Now that we actually have some sort of, playoff process better than what it was back when I was a kid. So, yeah, I agree. It's right there around third or fourth. Yeah, and depending on how who's the top dogs in that year for competing for a championship, but I'll take it right there around 3 or 4.
Hey, Willie, who you got? What's your ranking?
Certainly. I would say,
Oh, gee, real quickly, what was number one? I'm assuming NFL, or you got NBA?
No, my heart, I gotta go with NBA.
That's what I thought. So NFL's two for you. And gun to your head, NFL. So NBA, NFL, what's third? Gun to your head.
I gotta go with March Madness. Nothing.
So NCAA basketball, then football. NCAA
Yeah.
football. Okay. D-Dubs, you had number one, NFL, I know. Two, NBA?
NCAA. Basketball.
Okay.
Basketball for me.
I respect that. Okay.
I mean,
college hoops, you got number two, really?
Yeah, because I feel to me the two largest things that goes on in this country, Super Bowl and March Madness.
Yeah, from a betting standpoint, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, who's not doing an office pool? Everybody's doing a pool, some sort. Work ain't getting done on Thursday.
No productivity goes like
because everybody's watching the tournament, talking about upsets. It's like the biggest thing. I mean, NCAA football, they got their playoffs now, but I don't think it comes close to March Madness.
Hey, don't remind me of the pools, man. One year in the Navy, it was the year when we had Wayne Turner and all those guys, and we won it.
98.
And I did not go with my team.
What?
I did not see. I seen us get into the Final Four, but I did not see us win. Like I didn't have confidence in that team like I should have.
Shepard went off, baby.
He sure did, and I regret.
They should have won 3 in a row.
Yeah, at that point,
97, Derek Anderson got hurt. And they still lost in the final to Arizona in overtime. Ron Murphy.
It was going to be tough to beat Arizona, but Derek Anderson definitely.
Derek Anderson, they win that game.
Yeah, but I definitely learned at that point I'm never going against my team again. I don't care what it is.
All right, Derek. So NBA, so NFL, college hoops. Then I'm assuming NBA third, right? Or you got college football third. Don't just look like that. Give an answer. He's gritting his teeth.
That's hard because
just come up with something, dog.
Well, NBA is not in my top 4. It's just not.
That's why I want to get you. Spit it out.
NBA is not my top 4.
Give me your top.
NHL gonna come before NBA for me.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Give me the puck. Give me that ice.
And then
the skate, baby.
And then NASCAR.
NASCAR's up there too.
Hey Willie, he's about to do it. Hey Willie,
I know. Hey, like OG said back in the day, it's different. I'm different. I'm different.
Hey, what's that song? You just do you. Come on, D-Dubs. Give me your sports in order. Your landscape.
NFL, NCAA basketball.
Yep.
NHL hockey.
Oh my goodness, he did it.
NHL hockey. NCAA football.
You better not say NASCAR, boy.
NASCAR is in my top 5.
Oh my goodness. He did it again.
Let's go to Talladega, baby.
I wrote about Talladega. Actually, I thought about you. I was driving from Atlanta to Jackson, Mississippi, went by it twice, and I told my kids, Darwin lives over there, guys. He doesn't live in Carnoustie. He lives in Talladega.
And honestly, there was a time in my life that, baseball, the Yankees were king. The Yankees are still my squad.
Right.
But as I've grown older, wife, kids now, I've kind of changed a little bit. But there's Yankees team with Derek Jeter and Pettit and those guys. They were in my top 3.
Let the record show that Derwin put hockey and NASCAR in front of the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Hockey and NASCAR. We got to clip this.
Boy, hey, Willie, go ahead.
Send it to him.
Hey, Willie.
For me, it's probably NBA first, college basketball second.
All basketball.
Okay.
College basketball second.
High school basketball.
Third.
Junior
June
Pro.
4th.
Studio Pro.
Yeah.
The park and NBA 2K. Correct. YMCA.
Yeah. But hey,
Willie.
I love the NFL. I love the NFL.
You love it so much that it's freaking third. Got it.
Yeah, and college football will be fourth. And the thing about for me with the NCAA and college basketball and college football is weird because I see with the college football playoff, of course, from a money standpoint, we need to see these titanic matchups between these iconic programs in college football.
Mm-hmm.
But people are also getting tired of seeing the same four teams. So,
but you don't like Alabama, Ohio State, and Clemson?
And Clemson, yeah, they're getting tired of seeing those. You're right. They're getting tired of seeing. Then you just kind of reverse you kind of switch out who plays who, but it's like basically the same four teams. Mm-hmm. And you got to be careful because, of course, from a branding standpoint, you want to see the best teams play, but at the same time, it can't be the same four teams every year. Mm-hmm. And so I see that happening to a certain extent with college football, and people are calling for 8 teams.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm one of those. Give me 8. Hell, give me 16. I don't care.
Yeah. And people are calling for that. And even in the NCAA, and it's funny too, because my first year at Nike, my first Final Four was in Indianapolis when Butler almost beat Duke when
off the glass.
Hayward shot that.
Hayward.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So and
it was that 2011, right? 2011, I believe, something like that.
That was the 2010 Final Four.
Okay.
That was my first one. And when he took that shot and almost made it. So when Duke won that title, people were saying to us, man, it's got to be great for you all that Butler is in the Final Four playing Duke. From a retail standpoint, no, it's not.
No, it ain't.
No, it's not, because they don't have a worldwide alumni
fan base, exactly.
Nationwide alumni base, right? So it wasn't great for us, but for the pageantry that is the tournament, it's incredible for the tournament.
Exactly. Cinderella, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Yep. So I think about that with that, and that's what we're starting to see a little bit in college football. But I love all 4 of those sports, but the NBA and college basketball are first and second for me.
Where's NASCAR?
Funny story. You'll love this one. If the boss Siobhan Williams was here, she could attest to this. So I have a friend that works for the Bulls that's also a NASCAR fan, and we're living in Chicago. So the Chicago Speedway is in Joliet, like 45 minutes outside of Chicago. And we went for a race. And man, it was like, I'm glad I went. I'll never go again.
No, it's a good event. Don't let me look. NASCAR Live is like NHL Game 7 good. Live, it is nice. It is awesome. I just can't watch it on TV. After like 5 minutes, I'm like, okay, I've seen it all.
Wish was like when we went there, all the stuff that we were doing before and after was amazing. And watching the cars and watching the strategy was great. What I probably needed D there to explain to me exactly what I was watching, right? So I know, oh man, that was crazy what dude did. So I saw the moves and I'm like, man, that's crazy. But I didn't understand the strategy behind it.
Right.
So, it's almost like when we go and travel to places, I like to go to places when I'm looking at places that are steeped in history. I like to actually have a tour guide because I like to know the significance of what I'm looking at.
Oh, know your history, man. Yeah. See, that's that Brandeis education.
I like to know
ladies and gentlemen.
I like to know it. I like the strategy behind it.
I like it. Okay, all right. NHL, where you got NHL?
NHL 2020, 21.
NHL, man. It could be 61.
Oh, I love it, man.
Hey, Willie. What about you, OG? Where you got NHL, man?
I mean, are we counting high school sports? Let me tell you about categories for me. Like, it's things that I pay for to go, and then if you got a ticket, then I might go. I mean, NHL, it's got to be probably somewhere
dead last, damn near.
No,
I got it right ahead of MLS.
Yeah.
Actually,
I got MLS ahead.
You do?
Well, I've never been to I've been to a hockey game, not a playoff atmosphere, but I mean, I like the atmosphere of being at a hockey game, but I'm not about to watch it on TV. So, I mean, yeah, I'll probably say somewhere. Now, I see soccer. Like, I've seen, like, the game, so I know.
All the hooligans and the girls are nice at soccer.
Oh, yeah.
I like to go to
you can tell. Yeah, you can tell.
Yeah,
like, I mean, so I'm saying it would be somewhere neck and neck. The only reason I edge NHL is because I actually been to a game. So, I mean, but other than that, I mean, you know, I mean, it's not something I need. But
Where you got esports at?
I mean, esports is the holy grail for me.
I knew it. I was like, hey, OG gonna be like, hey, esports, man.
Hey man, I used to walk. I'm in the clouds because of esports. So, I mean, if it wasn't for esports, I wouldn't know Larry. I wouldn't know Kevin. I wouldn't know A. Willie.
Yeah, you would, man. Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would. That's a good point. No, I'm just messing with it. That's good stuff. I knew it. Derwin said, man. Derwin.
D, I got to watch a NASCAR race with you, man. I need some strategy, brother.
Derwin said. Derwin, what'd you have NASCAR? You had NASCAR second?
Number 1.
No, what'd you have second? NHL?
NCAA basketball.
What'd you have third?
I think it was NCAA football.
And you had fourth? Oh, that's right. You had NASCAR and hockey. Hockey. Before NBA.
Kind of left baseball out in the cold.
Yeah. I thought you would have had. I knew you were going to have the NBA last, but you got NBA above Major League Baseball? Really?
Yeah, NBA don't do.
But you love baseball, dude. You like baseball.
I like baseball, yeah. But like I said, things have changed for me. Because when Patrick Ewing and, Oakley and them guys played, the Anthony Mason, I was diehard Knicks till I died.
Mm-hmm.
Bulls games, 12 noon on NBC on a Sunday. That music came on. I was all in. And then the league just totally changed and it lost me. It lost. I'm like,
they lost me. Let's get out of here, dude. We went over 15 minutes, man. Because I just wanted you guys, because I knew we were all going to have different opinions. And A. Willie and Derwin, you guys stole the show with that nonsense that y'all just displayed.
Stop hating on NASCAR, bro.
I'm not. I went by. I swear I drove by and I was like, kids, Talladega, and the first your little little freaking mug popped up. Your little mug. You should if you would have seen my head. It's like your little head in a box popped up with a little smile on it. I was like, oh, that's Derwin. He would love this right now.
You want to hear a true story?
Give me
I was down in Florida for 2 months, right?
Yes.
On the way back up, I said, because I've seen it. My wife and my son are in the car. I said, let's get off this exit. Let me show you what Daytona looks like.
Daytona. No, you didn't. Really?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Where's by that Daytona racetrack? They can see it.
They've done a lot with it, man. They did some construction on it, reconstruction. They built it up. They called it Daytona. When I was there, it was Daytona Rising. So it's nice. It's got elevators and everything. Yeah, they took the grandstands off the backside and made one big. I'm about to curse again. One big old side. Take a time out. One big side to the grandstand. But yeah, it's nice, man.
It's real nice.
Yeah, Derwin, Major League Soccer and NHL, NASCAR. Where you got cricket?
My family's from Barbados. They're into cricket, but I'm not into it.
That's why I said that. I knew you were gonna say something nice about it. Okay, all right, good stuff. Okay, all right. Polo.
I like water polo. Okay. I like the Olympics now. I watch the water polo.
Curling.
Curling?
Yeah, curling.
No, I don't understand curling.
Okay, I know one you're gonna like. That's above the NBA. Death diving, right?
It's on the Ocho.
Actually, I like another one I like better.
What's that?
Women's volleyball, beach volleyball.
AVP.
What? We didn't go that far. I mean,
we did. We went to AAU and rec league and
that women's beach volleyball is serious.
Women volleyball is almost in its own category.
You like a professional cornhole.
No, Derwin would have said wrestling fourth.
They actually had professional cornhole going on during
the
pandemic.
They did. It was on all the time. Yeah. No, good stuff. Let's get out of here. Compete Forever on Black News Channel this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. 11 a.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Eastern. Black News Channel, Dish Network, Comcast Xfinity, Spectrum, Charter, and also DirecTV, ATT, Uverse. Saturday, 11 a.m., 6 p.m. Eastern. Compete Forever Madden League playoffs this weekend. Divisional round this weekend. Dabrowski, Durham Morrell, working the sidelines as a reporter on it. Did a fabulous job. Joined us in the booth a couple of times. It was great. So this weekend, the Compete Forever Madden League on TV for the first time this weekend. Then the Super Bowl next weekend. Any final thoughts, guys, before we get out of here? That was funny, guys. That was real funny. That was real funny.
Yeah,
Anything?
stretch run for NFL. We got what, 6 games left? Everybody's vying for that one bye. So it's going to be interesting. And one of my buddies, they put on Facebook, we're trying to figure out, it's basically NFC East is a race to 6. Who's going to get 6 wins?
Oh, they might not get the 6.
You know what?
It might be 5.
I honestly felt like, for a while, I kept holding out for the Eagles, but I can't hang out with them anymore. And I keep thinking,
Giants.
The Giants, they just can't put together 60 minutes. And then I looked at the schedule.
Well, what about the rest of the teams? They're all 3 wins.
I looked at the schedule. You know what? I think Washington's football team can get to 6. Look at the schedule.
They play Dallas Thursday, right?
Yeah. I'm picking them to win the game. I think they can get to 6.
Washington football team win the NFC East.
I think they can get to 6.
They might. Yeah, that mean go 3-3 the rest of the way. They might. Yeah.
And if they beat Dallas, they got 4 wins.
That'd be great to see a 6 and 10
That's crazy
in the playoffs.
That's just crazy
game.
to say. Listen to that, dude. Like they got 4 wins. Like,
I know.
like they're 4-0, right?
Well, they were talking about it. There's a scenario out there. There's a scenario
That's
where
so
4
crazy.
wins can win the division. There's a scenario where like 4-12 or 5-11 can win the division.
Crazy.
That's why Durbin says 6. Like you're giving them too much credit. 5-11 might take this thing. But that's gonna be crazy. 6 and 10, and I think you're right. I think somebody's gonna win half their games. 6 and 10, and you're hosting a playoff game. That's
get smoked, whoever that is.
Yeah. Well, remember the last 2 times we saw
Who
it.
knows?
Your
Yeah,
Seahawks
that was
was
7-9. But
ain't too much better than
5-11 ain't 7-9.
Go ahead, OG.
I mean, comparing 2 bad things. I mean, it's bad. Losing records is losing records.
Right.
Now, if somebody happens to make a run off of it, then yeah. But I mean, they both bad. Either way it goes.
Good stuff. All right, guys. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it, man. Coach K pushing all the right buttons back there. OG, be safe out there in Dayton, man. D-Dubs out there in Carnoustie. And hey, Willie, down there in the DFW, guys. I really appreciate you guys. Love you guys. We'll see you next Tuesday, regular time, right here, esportsXTRA. The only live call-in show talking esports and gaming and traditional sports. We'll see you Tuesday. Happy Thanksgiving.
Be
guys.
thankful. Be thankful.
Be thankful. I'm thankful that I got a crazy dude on here that loves NASCAR above the NBA. His name is Jordan Warrell. Hit him up on Twitter if you disagree with him.
Start your engines.
There you go. We'll see you guys Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Happy Thanksgiving. Be safe. And be careful out there if you shop on Black Friday.